this morning's regularly scheduled August Henry County School Board meeting to order. Ms. Stowe, will you call the roll for attendance today?
Dr. Duvall?
Present.
Mrs. Flanagan?
Present.
Mr. Law? Mrs. Maddox?
Present.
Mr. Milner?
Here.
Mrs. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Zader?
Present. Thank you, Ms. Stowe. This time I'll entertain a motion to approve this morning's agenda.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Also take this opportunity to welcome people to this morning's scheduled meeting. We appreciate you taking time, both members of the staff and also interested visitors, in being with us. Proceed with this morning's business at this time. The first item on the agenda, information. First subject, Virginia Wizard Academic and Career Plan. Australia. Before we get started with that, let me go back and say we will do an invocation, and I guess Mr. Lyle will do that for us.
So, please go with prayer. Kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we gather in your presence today, and we ask for guidance and divine wisdom on this meeting as we make decisions important to our schools and our children, our parents, and our community. We ask that as we move forward this month, you give our children and teachers safe travels, productive days on their first days and weeks at school, and also for the many students who've been through our school system or serving our country away and overseas in dangerous places. We ask that you bless them, keep them safe, and give them Godspeed on their return home. And now as we gather here today, give us your wisdom and your guidance so that we may do all things to further your kingdom here on earth. Amen.
Mr. Miller, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Dr. Duvall and members of the board. Today I'd like to share with you how we plan to implement the academic and career plans. First of all, an academic and career plan is a plan that maps out the courses that a student will take while they're in school and will lead to a career pathway. We are required under the Code of Virginia to implement the academic and career plans, and also the academic and career plans are an integral component to helping us reach our strategic objective of providing high-quality instruction, because our counselors will sit down one-on-one with students and map out the courses that they will take while they're in the middle school and the high school, and also will suggest to students possible clubs or organizations that they should belong to in order to reach their career goals, and thus providing our students with that roadmap that will help them graduate and be college, career, and citizen ready. We are going to follow the guidelines as set forth by the state, that we will develop these beginning in the 7th grade, that we will list all the courses that the students will take while they are with us in Henry County middle and high schools, and then we will include a plan for what they will do after graduation, whether it be college or entering into the workforce. We will have the students sign the plan when they meet one-on-one with the counselor. The plan will then go home where a parent or a guardian will sign the plan. It will then come back to the school where the principal will sign the plan. The plans will be updated and reviewed when the students before they enter the 9th grade and before the students enter the 11th grade. And also these plans will be maintained in the students' cumulative records. We are going to use the Virginia Wizard, which is a web-based program, to help our counselors and teachers develop these plans for our students. The Wizard has lots of information. It can help a student find a college, find a career, even learn about going to a community college and then transferring to another university. There's lots of information on the Wizard, and I suggest that you all visit the website, which is virginiawizard.org, and look through the information on the site. But at this time, I would like to share a few of the components of the Wizard with you. This is the home page of the Wizard, and it shows you the guide. Jenny is her name, and Jenny will guide the students when they log in through the Wizard. But also, as I said, the counselors will help the students as they go through the different components, and they have sessions with the students on the Wizard. You could go to the site and take some of the assessments, but our students will go to the site and they will use an individual login, and therefore everything they do on this site will be maintained on the sites for permanent records as it's reviewed over the years. This first page that I'm sharing with you, if you'll see across the top where it says skills assessments, interest assessments, and values assessments, those are the different assessments that students can take to find out what potential careers are out there for them. So, for example, on the interest assessments, students would be given a series of questions like these that you see on the screen, where they're asked, would you like to conduct a symphony? Would you like to build kitchen cabinets? And asking a series of all different types of questions where they have to just do a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a question mark if they're not sure if they would like to do it or not. They're also given a values assessment where they're asked questions, and these cards can actually be moved to go under the ranking from 5 to 1, where 5 is the most important. So would you like to work alone? Would you like to be recognized for your work? To see what values are important to students. And the last assessment is a skills assessment, where students are given a series of questions where they have to say, is this easy for you, hard for you, or you don't know because you've never done it. And they're asked such things as, do you like to teach others how to do something? Do you like to get people together and try to work out a conflict? And once all the assessments are taken, Jenny pops up on the screen and lets the students know what pathway might be best suited for them. So for this student, the example was given that this student was a female and that she would be suited well for information technology. That was the highest ranking, and they are given a percent. Science, technology, engineering, math, or possibly a career in business. So this helps our students in the 7th grade start to understand themselves as well as things that are out there that they might be interested in. Then students can go to the Wizard and search. Well, where could I work if I pursued a degree with something with STEM? Or where could I work if I did something with information technology? And the Wizard would list all the potential employers in the region, across the state, and possible skills that the student would need to work on if they were indeed planning to pursue a career in that field. On this site, the students are also able to type in a certain career or occupation. For example, on the screen you see computer software engineer. So students could search, what if I wanted to do this for a career? And it would tell them whether the job was in demand or not, and it would also list what type of education do you need in order to pursue this career? What type of major should you have? And then how much could you potentially make if this was indeed the career path that you chose? So that, like I said, there's lots of information on the site. So once students realize which direction they're going to take, they could then search for colleges. So Virginia Wizard lists all colleges, not just those in Virginia, and students can search those based on if they want to go to a 4-year, a 2-year institution, or if they wanted to go to a different state, they could search those by if they want to go to a rural setting versus an urban setting. And then the Wizard provides this information to tell them, if you plan to go to college, these are the assessments that you need to take. Here's how you prepare for college. And also tells them about the community colleges and the things that are offered. The last slide I'd like to share with you from the Wizard is the one where the counselors are able to put the information in when they meet with these students one-on-one. So they could enter the occupations that the Wizard has said might be good for each student, or they could enter notes that the student has said. Possibly the student said they wanted to be an astronaut, and then the next year when they meet with a student, they say, well, I might be interested in teaching. So therefore, they could write those things in the notes, and each year when a counselor meets with a student, they could revisit possible interests the student had. Also, if an organization is having a night such as medical and healthcare, counselors can go to the Wizard and do a search and pull up every child who said they might be interested in a career in the health fields, and then let those students know that there's an event taking place that they would like to visit to get more detailed information. We want to make sure our students are not like the student in the cartoon. If you see the cartoon, there's an adult asking the student, what are you going to do after school? And the student's reply is, go home and take a nap, or take a nap. We want to make sure that our students have short and long-term goals, and that they graduate college, career, and citizen ready, and are ready to go out and be productive citizens. Do you have any questions about the wizard or our implementation of the academic and career plans?
You mentioned that they, after doing all this, they meet with the counselor. How often do the students meet with the counselor during the school year?
Well, during the year, they always meet at registration time. Our counselors are going to go out and meet with students one-on-one to have these discussions with them, and to also sign them up for the courses for the next year. But with our implementation of this program, the counselors are going to be in the rooms quite frequently. And for example, in the middle school, we now have what's called the E period in the schedule. That is that period where we will block out and we will let them know things that need to take place during that period, such as taking these assessments and then reviewing with the students what those assessments are. So they will be meeting with those students frequently during the year now.
Mr. Milner, what's so important is starting early. And one of the things that we're implementing for this next year is 7th grade students are going to be visiting Patrick Henry Community College. We've already scheduled some trips over there so that they can start thinking about future career and college plans early, because there's a lot of decisions that parents and students have to make long before they get to high school. You don't wait until 9th grade to start planning your career or college pathway. So that's a part of that. We're also looking at businesses in our local area that our students can visit as well. As I shared at the convocation, we have the Ready Step assessment, which we're giving in 8th grade now. You may be surprised to hear that our students were a little thrown by that assessment, because it's a very different type of assessment that measures college and career readiness. So we're going to be using that information as well to help us work with students.
Okay. One thing that I'm not sure that we are aware of, there are a number of businesses, government, and private within the community that offers assistance, tuition assistance to students. Have we compiled a list that available to students aware of? Because, for example, I worked for the PSA for 14 years, and PSA pays tuition, but no one took advantage of it in my own business except me, because they're just not aware of it. So I think if they were aware of what organizations offer tuition assistance, it may encourage them to continue their education.
Good point. And we are working on a scholarship central type program. I know you're talking about more work-related funding that's provided, but that could be a nice addition to that resource.
And we have our annual college night that will be in September, and at that night they do provide information on financial aid and filling out FAFSA forms, but that would be something that we could additionally have at college night. We could seek to have local businesses let us know information that we could share with parents. At college night, it'll be at Magna Vista this year.
And something else that I'm sure, but I talked to a couple of students that went on to college, and they were not aware until they actually got enrolled in college which of their AP or dual enrollment courses that the college would take. And I'm sure that they're getting this information, but I think it needs to be reinforced. If you plan to go to this XYZ college, these are the courses they'll accept, these ones are not, so that they can better plan.
And that is individual to the university, because some universities accept it as like they take AP history, 3 credits in history, where some count it as an elective, but we do have a general idea.
And some require
A syllabus.
higher grade,
Yes.
4 versus a 3.
And for the dual enrollment courses, they require an A or B in most cases. So
We
every
can-
college is different. I can speak from experience. I was just looking at one for William & Mary history. So they will have different requirements for college credit or substitution of college courses. So we need to do a better job.
I know we're doing it, but I think we need to re-emphasize.
Right. And And we can do that because we do go into every dual enrollment AP class and speak to the students when it first starts. So most definitely that we can make sure that we reiterate that and do something like maybe in writing, because students might not remember on that first day of school because there's a lot going on. They're excited to see their friends.
I would say whatever you communicate in the classroom on the website, too,
Mhm.
on the Parent Connect, I'm sure it's on there. These questions about AP and
Yeah, because students will ask those kinds of questions. You know, should I take dual enrollment or advanced placement? Should I get an associate's degree or not? And there's a lot of misinformation out there among the students too.
That's true. That is
So
true.
we spend a lot of time working on communicating.
But our guidance department has been, all the guidance counselors have been trained on using the wizard. And they know that it stores all the information for the students. So when I take the assessment in the 7th grade, I can retake it as many times as I would like. That's why I recommend you take it too. And you can take it, and every time see if it gives you the same outcome. And it's there and it's stored. And they have been trained on how to use it. So I'm really looking forward to our development of helping our students.
just like the performance evaluation tools we've had, it's help guidance counselors to meet this requirement and also benefit students. Tool like that. Because all these mandates can be quite daunting.
Yes.
Other questions or comments? No? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
We look forward to the implementation of this program. The next item is Energy Conservation Program Annual Update. Mr. Atkins.
Good morning. Dr. DeVault, members of the school board, Dr. Cotton, I'm excited to be back here sharing our biannual energy conservation report. It's hard to believe it's only 7 months left for completing our contract with Synergistics. Our goal has remained the same, and our main focus of the program is to save money for the classroom. As you can see, our objectives align with our Envision 2018 strategies. Safe and orderly schools, effective and efficient resource management. What does energy management involve? Visiting our 15 sites weekly at different time periods in the day, including weekends, nights, and holidays. Monitoring and adjusting our energy management system. Verify building shutdowns during unoccupied times. Raising employee awareness about our energy consumption and education about what we can do to individually each day to help reduce consumption. Database entry of utility bills, weather data, and equipment adjustments each month as bills arise for our schools approximately 100 plus meters. Communicating progress district-wide based on our ECAT software. Communicating energy savings information for work and or home via a newsletter, Green News, including weekends, holiday reminders to shut down, and working with maintenance and custodian staff daily about equipment runtime, building equipment concerns for audits, and preventive maintenance. This is just a quick breakout to show you that the expected energy cost, which is the amount estimated to spend without the program, would have been over $7.1 million. As you can see, our actual energy cost was $5.4 million, which has given us a cost-avoided savings of $1.7 million over the last 42 months. This is your return on investments. The net savings the program has produced is already equivalent to the net savings projected by Synergistics for the end of the 5th year of the program, which means we're at least a year and a half ahead of the estimated schedule. As you can see, our program has, there we go. As you can see, our program has played a substantial role in reducing the carbon footprint for the division. We reduced our greenhouse gases by 10,000. Can I make it go down?
I had that problem the other day. Skip something.
I know y'all want this over early, but good gracious, guys.
No, we like to see savings.
Okay. All right, I need to go. There we are. No, let me go down. One more. One of the slides is missing.
I got it on mine.
Okay, man. There we go. There we go. Excuse me. As you can see, our program has played a substantial role in carbon footprint, reducing the carbon footprint for the division. We reduced our greenhouse gases by 10,720 metric tons, and our program performance is equivalent to removing 1,924 cars from the highway. Here's a few items that played a part in our energy conservation program. All schools continue to earn Energy Star certification. Rich Acres Elementary School's lighting upgrade in gym and classrooms. ECAP software web-based upgrade. This is software we can use to track all our utility data. And now the principals are going to be able to get online and actually see up to date by each day how their school is doing. Energy monitors on vending machines. I work with Coach with the help of Miss Wagner at Bassett High School, so it does take a team to have all Coke brand drink machines installed with smart boards to learn the daily routine of the students and staff, so the machines would not run during unoccupied time. This will save approximately $800 per machine per year. In Bassett High School, Phase 1 lighting and HVAC upgrade. The focus on energy conservation, of course, led to our Green Ribbon Schools Award. Our energy conservation program played a major role in attaining this award. Magna Vista High School is one of the 63 schools across the country to receive the 2013 Green Ribbon Award and the only high school in the state of Virginia. What has our program done beyond the financial piece? This program is a positive way to turn America's red, white, and blue into green. This program preserves the environment and saves you money. Being green is saving green. This program produces the greatest possible environmental results. It is difficult to criticize organizations that are doing all they can do to conserve resources, protect the environment, and serve as responsible corporate citizens. This program is a great way to demonstrate social responsibility to people you care about, and that's our students. In a world of constrained natural resources, the case for environmental stewardship grows stronger every day. This program is a money-saving, earth-friendly choice. Reducing pollution and greenhouse gases is simply the right thing to do. The sustainability movement. During the 2013 National Training Conference, Randy Hoff, CEO of Synergistics, said that in the next 3 to 5 years, he feels there will be a federal mandated guidelines for public buildings requiring that school systems and county governments have energy programs in place. Randy Hoff also mentioned that there will be a strong focus on education in the classroom through programs and curriculums beginning with the elementary schools. The federal guidelines require all public buildings to track energy use. Their goal is to require an energy reduction of 20%. Because Henry County Public Schools is already participating in an energy program, our numbers are currently being reported to the EPA through our Energy Star program. Our monthly reduction has reached well over 30% now. We are well ahead of the curve. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I think this has been great for our school system. I understand the contract was entered with the synergistic, what is the contract?
Synergistic.
Synergistic.
Yes.
Will expire sometime this coming year.
At the end of January.
How will it impact what we're doing here? Or will it impact?
They will continue to provide support. They send someone monthly here now. That was part of their contract. I will have to request online if I need support, and they will continue to send someone here as much as I need it. They also will send someone, an engineer here every year to help me with the Energy Star program to certify our schools. The good thing, though, it won't cost us after January to save us $13,300 and some dollars a month, right? So $160,000 a year nearly. So.
We'd like to hear that kind of information.
Okay. Any other questions?
Or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. Let's go back to item 2 on the agenda. Dr. Cobb, you have an introduction for me.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to take this opportunity to formally introduce our board to our new principal of Bassett High School, Mr. John Gibbs, who's sitting in the back there. He comes to us from Cumberland County Schools in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he's most recently the Executive Director of Secondary Education. He's a graduate of Drew Mason High School and has been an educator for 30 years with 13 years of experience in administration, including serving as an assistant principal and principal at the high school level. So I did want to give the board a chance to meet Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs, I don't know if you want to come forward, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but we wanted to welcome you to Henry County, and board members, if you have any comments or questions for him.
I normally would not be late. I apologize. For the state patrol here, they do a great job.
I don't know if we have in our budget to pay traffic or our employees. Any questions or comments for Mr. Gibbs? We like to see former Henry County people come back home. I still know Mr. Gibbs as Johnny Mack, and say welcome back to Henry County. I know that Bassett High School will be the factor of your experience and expertise.
Just excited about being here. It's been a great week. Our staff has worked extremely hard, and got a great colleague up the road there. She was at our freshman orientation, Ms. Agnew, and we've already started bonding. That I know Dr. Cotton wants us to have a nice relationship, and it's going to be very good. I think we're going to be able to call each other, and I told her, I said, you didn't have to be Virginia Principal of the Year already. Just come in here to some big shoes to stand aside. But it's been great being here for a week. Everything I own is in my car right now, so if I can get into a home and get settled, I promise you I will never be late for another board meeting. That's not a good way to start off. I'm embarrassed.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Very glad to have you. You've had a great year.
Well, thank you. An old teacher here, principal here. I got a lot of people that are familiar faces. We've had a lot of folks that I graduated with, have children at Bassett High School, and it's been a very welcoming experience so far. And our school is doing a lot of great things before John Gibbs got here, and we're just hoping that we can make things even better. And we have lived by this. We told our staff that all means all at Bassett High School. So we will not be happy until all 100% of our students graduate on time and we're proficient at all SOLs. I'm still learning the terminology. I'm still trying to call them ESCs, but I'm getting there. But thank you for having me.
And we appreciate you coming up and speaking. I know as a true high school principal, you have to be ready for anything. but thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Sorry, you got a sister.
At this time, we move on to agenda item speakers from the floor. Let me remind those people who plan to speak of our 3-minute limitation on speaking time. Also, please be aware that it is not appropriate to mention specific personnel or students by name, and public meeting. Those things should be taken care of not in a public meeting. Our first speaker is Melissa Hubbard. Ms. Hubbard, if you'll come forward.
First off, I'd like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. This is definitely not my pitch, so I'm a little nervous here, but I would like you guys to address the issue of special placement. I know you guys are put in difficult positions and have hard decisions to make. However, at this point, I don't feel like what's being or best for the child is being done. My children, for example, I had custody of 2 children that were born substance exposed. They had developmental delays. One of the children does have an IEP in place. He only receives speech therapy at this time. We've worked very hard. I have a babysitter that I've had for 10 years. She's been with these children since birth. We've worked very hard to eliminate any delays, issues that the children would have to give them the best shot at a school year and give them the best learning environment that they can have. She's been to classes. She's CPR certified. I trust her with my children's life. I am being told by the board, or by the school board, that my only options are to sign over joint custody of my children to my babysitter. My house is paid for. I cannot move to Bassett. I need my children to be able to ride the bus to my daycare. Like I said, she's a specialist in their education. She's been with them since birth. She's worked with early development at Piedmont Community Services. I really feel like my child's needs are not being met here. I do know that Campbell Court in the 2009-2010 school year had 415 students. In the 2010-2011, they had 404. Last year, 387. They're on a steady decline. Carver, which is my district that my children are being asked to go to, has 526 children last year. I don't see where it's overcrowded. With that being said, I know names are not appropriate. I'm not going to mention names, but I do have a list of names of people that are going special placement. And as far as me being able to do daycare, I'm a full-time student myself in the paramedic program. I go to school in the afternoon from 6 to 10 p.m. I have a babysitter that's willing to keep my kids until someone can get there. My husband works for FedEx. Sometimes he's not home till 8 o'clock at night. She does homework with them. She doesn't sit them in front of a TV. She works with these children. She teaches them things. She works with their homework. As it stands right now, I'm going to have to quit my job. I do only work part-time. I drive for a logistics company. Sometimes I'm not even in the state. She's my emergency contact. She has a certified paper that, she can make any medical decisions for my children if need be. I'm finally in a spot to where I feel like I have given these children the stability that they need. And to be told that I have to go to a courtroom with the parents, because I have to subpoena the parents, that did cocaine and methadone with them while they were, in vitro. It makes no sense to me. I don't see how that is my only option. I don't feel that it is correct that we do not have an appeal process. I know that you guys, with the consolidation, were put in difficult positions, but I feel like I'm being punished for that. And that's pretty much what I have to say. So I would really appreciate maybe a reconsideration on this issue. And I know if you do one thing for one, you have to do it for all. But maybe we need to look at this policy. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard. We appreciate your comments. The placement committee does take into account questions that are asked, and I'm sure this will be discussed.
Okay. And the answer that I was given last board meeting was that you guys still consider policy and you plan to stick with policy. I really hope that's not the answer this time. However, if it is, I would really like to receive that in writing, and I would also like my options in writing as well. I have not received that. Thank you.
Next speaker is Reverend Thurman Eccles. Reverend Eccles.
Good morning. Took me about a half a minute to get up here, Dr. DeVault. I'm getting some
We'll
weeds.
see how fast you can move for this drive.
Good morning to Dr. DeVault and members of the school board, Dr. Cotton, staff, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. I was very impressed with at the convocation in Magna Vista this week, and I was glad that I went before this presentation before you today. Dr. Tony Wagner, in my opinion, was just outstanding. I've come this morning with great concerns about our school system. I feel that there's a great need for more mentors and role models, minority teachers, and administrators. I feel that recruitment and retention is imperative. Supporting teachers and administrators with resources that will enable them to succeed. I strongly urge you this morning to consider making some effort to go to historically black colleges and universities. I've been in this community more than 37, going on 38 years. And I've often heard that we can't find black teachers and black administrators or potential. Well, maybe that's perhaps because we don't go to the right places. They grow teachers, school board members, Brother Superintendent, at historically black colleges and universities. They don't grow a lot of black teachers at Tech, UVA, North Carolina State, University of North Carolina. There aren't but so many there in the first place. I was recently in North Carolina, Rockingham County to be exact, and I was amazed at the principals and the administrators who looked like me. Perhaps, as I heard Dr. Cotton say the other day, that other people come here to our system to see what we're doing. Perhaps we ought to go to some other systems to see what they're doing. Rockingham County has a lot of minority teachers, principals, and administrators. I think that we probably can be creative. We can learn from all of these persons that have done some outstanding jobs in this area. There are those who believe in education, and I have tried to partner with the educational system since I've been here in these years. There are those who want to partner with you and to be supportive. And I suggest today that you do as you did at the convocation, reach out to the faith-based community, other leaders, and we want to be partners with you. All I'm asking today as we start off a new school year, for fairness, equality, and equal playing field. Dr. Martin Luther King, the late Dr. King, said, don't do right because someone wants you to do right, but do right because it's just right to do right. And so here we come today to ask you to consider these things that I suggest today. My late wife, Diana Tyler Eccles, worked in this system for 28 years. She was a teacher at Mount Olive, one school, for 28 years. Our two children grew up in this system, and both of them are educators. They didn't think that they'd make a lot of money, but they wanted to give something back. One of them went to Hampton and went on to Virginia Tech, came back here and worked for 2 years. Went down to a job fair in Raleigh, and one of the superintendents said to him, come over here, young man. You're the best dressed young man in this whole building today. For those of you who know me, I have stressed dress, decorum, and behavior and manners throughout my career here in this county. And so I say to us this morning, to all of you, that we need to stress our children coming back, as our principal, gone now. He's going to take up a collection at the school to pay that ticket. But he's come back. And we need to do more of this, Dr. Butler. We need to, Dr. Cotton, we need to have some incentive and talk about creativity. And Dr. Wagner talked about that, to bring our young people, maybe help them with going to college, that they will give something back to Henry County at least a few years. I think that we need to initiate some type of program. Well, let me just say this in my closing. There were 3 young ladies that graduated from medical school in the same year. They graduated from Laurel Park, and I know all 3 of them graduated from med school from Laurel Park. That's good statistics anywhere, to have 3 young ladies and who happen to be African American who went to med school and graduated the same year. Doesn't that say something about our school system? I think so. Well, my son Philip, who worked in the system, they had a saying at Laurel Park that Miss Oakes was the hardest English teacher that ever been hired in Henry County. And I told him, in order to get to college prep courses, take Miss Oakes. There was a bridge program in Hampton that summer that they wanted you to make 1,000, the score of 1,000 or more. And I paid the fee for him to go. He went and made far beyond 1,000. He made the highest grade in English that summer, coming from the school system. I think that speaks well in volumes for the school system. I was in Egypt some years ago. There's a program, or there's an environment called the kibbutz. Some of the best minds of children grow up in this environment. Engineers, doctors, teachers, lawyers, so forth and so on. We have a program in this area that I think is superb. National Society of Black Engineers. I don't feel, and some of those students have grown up in our school, I don't feel that we get enough support from them. These are some of the best students that we produce, bar second to none. I think that the school board needs to support them more. And our church has given money. We've given some thousands of dollars to support these children because we believe in investing in education. Why not support them more? They represent our community. There are leaders. They are our leaders for the future. I want to impress upon you today, there is no substitute for dress and decorum. You can't buy it at Walmart, and certainly it's not online. That we need to, I know the social media, technology, STEM, it's good to have all of these programs, Dr. Cotter. But good manners that I learned did not come from the university where I went. My mother taught me manners, and my teachers and the principals reinforced that when I got to school. I think that we need to have set some standards for dress for administrators and for teachers. Amen. I'm not preaching. But there needs to be some dress codes for teachers. When I was in school, and some of you all, teachers look like teachers. The principal look like principals. And I think that that needs to be from here, starting here. The buck stops here with this type of standard for dress code, and I think that it needs to start from the top. Well, in my closing, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come today. In our church, we do some things that support education every Sunday. I speak about education every Sunday. In the years that I've been at Moore Hill Church, there have probably been more children to go off to college and have done well because I stress that. We need to partner with the faith-based community, for that's where a lot of education takes place also. In our newsletter for this month, and as I close, there are 10 things parents can do to help succeed in school. And this was taken from the information from Indiana Academic Standard Guide. There are 10 things that parents can do to help their students get started. And I'll be glad to, or you can go online and get this information. So I want you to listen to these things that I brought before you today. And one of the things that has disturbed a lot of people in the community is that we've had educators to leave and go to other systems and done well, and they have done well. We've had people and personnel that we're not going to get into. We're going to stay with the policy, the parameter, as Dr. Paul said. We've had educators to leave this system and gone to other systems and done well, and I think that we need to address that. I think this is important. I know time is important, but these things are important to our system and getting off to a school year. Robert Frost, one of my favorite poets, I saw in Franklin Ernest, 2 roads diverged in the yellow woods, and that the other one says that was before GPS. So thank you all this morning. Technology is good, but I think that personal touch with children is far more superior in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Nickel. Move on at this time to any comments or questions. We move on at this time to the consent agenda. There are several items on the consent agenda. If there are any questions concerning any of those items, any discussion, they can be brought up individually.
I just had a point of clarification. Item F, is this the first reading on these policies or second?
This is the first. We actually, instead of bringing them all forward all at one time, there were a few that we pulled out.
Because it was the first reading at the last.
And those are different policies.
Okay.
So good question. We need to get out of the habit of doing all of them at one time.
It's a lot.
In this case, we had a few we had to work on a little bit longer, so we brought them later. So they're different policies. You're right. And those policies are included in this.
Any questions? Any questions? Mr. House is here to answer those that he's dealing with, and I guess Dr. Cotton can answer any of the others.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Those in favor of this motion, signify by raising your right hand.
Dr. Ball, like Reverend Nichols, if you could give me a copy of the 10 things that parents can do, I assume that would apply to grandparents, because I'm a grandparent. I save you from going online, because I'm not the best technology person in the world, so.
Since you taught my children, I'm going to give this copy to you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Dr. Huffman, I think, we are aware of these updated policies, who's doing them, why they're necessary, but perhaps the people here don't know that the SBA reviews these annually and provides this.
Yes, sir. The VSBA provides us with editorial changes and updates that are based on recent legislation and requirements that have to go into effect. The other part that's important to note is a lot of these are suggestions. In some cases, we take the suggestions. In some cases, we have to edit and modify those to meet our needs because some of the changes are optional. But we do get, as a rule of thumb, we generally approve most of their suggestions because we pay for that service.
And I guess as a point of reference, these items that are approved on the first reading, when they're brought back for the second reading, they are discussed individually in open session for final approval.
They are, especially if there are questions, but they'll come back for action.
Most of them are minor.
A lot of them are editorial.
Editorial change. Okay, so we need to get a vote and approval. Okay, we'll move then to action agenda. First item under the action agenda is approval of the SBA Media Honor Roll Resolution. This time I'd like to ask Mr. Paul Collins to come forward. And Ms. Stowe has the resolution that she is going to read.
Good morning. The Virginia School Board Association provides school boards across the state the opportunity to recognize, by way of resolution, members of the media, and then they will be placed on the VSBA Media Honor Roll. And it's a pleasure, having worked with Mr. Collins for several years, to present this to him. And I will read the resolution. Whereas in each community, the public schools are shaped by the community to provide the most appropriate and effective education for the school children who attend those schools. And whereas public schools are dependent upon the community's support in countless ways, including support in setting goals for the education of our children and establishing successful volunteer and booster programs at the schools for annual funding of operations and in the election of qualified school board members. And whereas much of the community's knowledge and opinions about the public schools rely on responsible reporting by local media representatives who decide which news to share with the community, how much attention will be focused on those issues, and what the tone of the reporting will be. Now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Henry County places the name of Paul Collins on the statewide media honor roll, calling attention to the ongoing responsible and exemplary nature of reporting on this community's public schools. We express our appreciation for your balanced and accurate approach to sharing with the community both the challenges faced in our schools and the successes achieved by the teachers and students. Your work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for the children who attend them. Thank you.
Picture together. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, we'll put you in the middle. Thank you.
We do. Is there a motion at this time to approve this resolution? We're not going to take it back. If we don't approve it.
Move to accept the resolution R14-0. Second.
I'd just like to say that Mr. Collins is very professional. And he's a gentleman, and I've never seen a guy write that fast and as accurate in my whole life. He can write faster than I can talk, and I can talk pretty fast. So congratulations, Mr. Collins.
Other comments? Again, thank you, Mr. Collins. We appreciate what you are doing and have done for the schools in the Martin County area. And appreciate your reporting on our pluses and sometimes our minuses that we have.
Thank you all.
I think we have a motion.
We have the motion on the floor. Those in favor of this motion, signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move to approval of updates to certain school board policies on second reading. Mr. Bowles.
Yes, good morning, Dr. DeVault, members of the board. You've already mentioned this, but at the last board meeting in July, you approved on first reading certain policies that had been revised and updated according to the SBA recommendations. I'm here today to ask for you to recommend to you that you approve this same group of policies on a second reading unless you have any questions about any of those.
Any questions for Mr. Bowles?
I went through those last night, 7 pages. And it looked like they were meticulously corrected and amended where appropriate.
You would have strike-through versions of what was taken out and underlined part. That would
terminology.
be yes.
Chairman, I offer a motion we accept it on the second reading as amended.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other questions? Not those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Next item under the action agenda is annual review of the crisis plan. Mr. Scott.
Good morning. In accordance with the Code of Virginia 22.1-279.8, local school boards are required to annually review the written school crisis, the emergency management, and medical emergency plans. And If you remember correctly, last year we provided a pretty extensive crisis plan to you for your review, and this year it's worked out really well, and so we're keeping the same consistency on the plan. There's only 3 changes that were involved, and that had to do with parent reunification. And then the state required 2 lockdown drills this year as part of their requirements, and then there's some communication change to emergency responders listed in the crisis manual. So it's recommended the board approve the revisions to the crisis plan for this upcoming year.
Move to accept the updates to the annual crisis plan. Second.
Questions or discussion on this for Mr. Scott? Not those in favor signify by raising the right hand. Motion carries.
I understand, Mr. Scott, that all the faculty in the school, they've already gone over this already, some schools haven't.
Yes, sir, they do. The administration goes over the plan with each staff member each year. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next item is the approval of the New Tech Network Agreement. Dr. Cotton, inform us about that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I did want to bring the New Tech Network Agreement. As you know, we're a part of the New Tech Network with Warrior Tech at Magna Vista High School. There is ongoing cost each year that includes professional development, access to online resources and materials, and also access to a student portal called ECHO that is, teachers and students use for grading, posting assignments, and posting student work, and so forth. So all of that incurs a cost. There was an initial cost that we've already taken care of, and there's a yearly cost that's outlined in the agreement. I did make sure that there was a statement in there that we can terminate at any time with 60-day notice, because as you'll notice, it's a multi-year agreement with New Tech. The other important point that I want to make is the Harvest Foundation grant. We'll be supporting this because it's in line with professional development and professional resources for teachers in New Tech, but also the resources and the professional development will benefit all of our schools and teachers eventually, because as teachers are trained through New Tech, they're going to turn around and provide training for teachers outside of New Tech down the road. So this is really building some capacity for us to implement this new style of teaching that we've been talking so much about. So I wanted to make sure that the board was aware of that and see if you had questions before we sign off on this agreement.
Mr. Lyle, I went through and tried to read this document. It's extensive, and I didn't understand it all. But Mr. Lyle, you would thoroughly review this. I have full support.
And I made some, right, and I made some changes. I mean, I suggested some changes, and they went back and made pretty much all those changes.
Right.
And so it's fine with me.
Any other questions involving this contract?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this contract as presented, and it's been reviewed and modified. Our attorney, if there are no other comments, I'll call for a vote. Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd just like to state on the New Tech program is fully hope that we will monitor this closely. And we would look at the possibility for as soon as possible extending this same type of training or classes to all of our students to include Bassett. I realize it's a funding thing that restricts us to how we're received, but I would like for all of our students to be offered the same degree of education throughout the county, and that students would not have to transfer from one school to another in order to avail themselves of the program offered by a special school. As you're well aware, I attended separate schools, and I know they work. So I hope that we will work towards making the same educational opportunities available for all of our students, regardless of the high school they attend in the county.
Mr. Miller, funding sources to make that happen. Even if we did have the funding to move forward at Bassett, for example, I don't know that we would have all at one time, because you really have to have somebody be first and set the model and get it started. And then, of course, you learn a lot from that. I will tell you, we've already learned a lot from implementation that we didn't know when we got started, but Bassett's going to benefit from all of that learning. In addition, the teachers and administration for Bassett are going to have the chance to go and see what's happening at Magna Vista, so that they won't have to travel as far as we did to see it. So, but I totally agree with you. We need to do the same on both sides of the county, and that's our plan.
I agree with that too, but I just also want to stress that new tech is a new way of teaching. That doesn't diminish what we're doing outside of new tech. I hope that people think that there's still great teaching and learning taking place in all these other classes.
You're right, because what we're learning from new tech is going to impact everything that we do. You know, we've launched a whole new, Mr. House has been awfully tired this summer working on curriculum, but we are revising our entire curriculum to include the tenets of new tech through our curriculum planning and through our professional development, because we believe all students should have these opportunities, K-12. I have to say pre-K-12.
I just want to, as a matter of record, I know we are under the eye of the rest of the Commonwealth and perhaps the country. And the success or failure of our system, which will be success, will be closely monitored.
Yes, sir.
I believe.
At the last meeting, Mr. Milner asked for the 100 students that are going to be in the new tech. He asked for the demographics, how they compare to Henry County, and I was very pleased when the results came out that they mirrored almost identical the demographics of Henry County. The women were favored just a little bit, and I'm all in favor of that, because women need more jobs in the STEM areas, and other than that, it was almost identical. And I think Dr. Kai's made it available in the bulletin, and we need to remind people.
I think I recall you saying several times too, Dr. Cotton, that all of the teachers at Magna Vista and ultimately those at Bassett too will benefit and will be putting into practice some of the teaching methodologies that can be used in new tech throughout the school.
Because it's all about project-based learning, one-to-one technology, different types of assessment, all those things you heard Dr. Wagner talk about, and all the innovative approaches to teaching and learning are all going to be a part of what we do in Henry County. It's not, we told when we started with this program, we wanted every ninth grader at Magna Vista to be a part of new tech. You know, not make it an option, but then we realized that not every student wants that kind of learning environment, and we were taking away choice if we were to force something like that. So we had a lot of discussions about that, because just like what you're talking about, we believe all students should have those types of experiences. So we have to find a way to make sure all students get exposed to that type of learning, but not necessarily within the new tech program.
And one of the things I'm happy that Pastor Eccles is here is because he's talking about a dual approach. Perhaps he can help us to try to get these programs more visible to our students, because we can only reach so far. And let them know that all these things are available. New tech is available. We need to let them know about the ACE program. We need to let them know about government school. We need help. And the faith community, I believe, can play a great part in helping get this message across.
Certainly.
Okay, we move to the next item under action agenda, approval of additional appropriation requests. Dr. Cotton.
Yes, I did bring this up earlier this summer, where we looked at the issue of the 2% and the discussion that we've had. As you recall, can you pull up the presentation? As you recall, we did talk about an additional budget proposal by the governor. It talked about the option of the 2%. school divisions decided they wanted to implement those at different times. The initial proposal had 2% as of July 1, but if you implemented August 1st or September 1st, it gradually increased. For example, August 1st increased to 2.18. Moving forward, October, maybe 2.67. So if the school division decided that they wanted to implement the 2% later, then you gradually had to increase that amount, essentially meaning that you would need the same amount of money to implement that increase. You would just have to increase it a higher percentage, depending on when you implement it. But then when we look at the final, I'll take you to the next slide that I shared with you at a previous meeting. We saw that we had the governor's introduced budget, which looks similar to the slide I just talked about. But then the House amendment had the 2% all the way down, regardless of when you implemented. And then, of course, the final that came out is the 2% all the way through, meaning that if you waited until January 1st, for example, you could still implement 2% raise. You wouldn't have to implement the 4% raise. Now, as you all remember, we had concerns about the raise for various reasons. It still only includes those SOQ funded positions, which means that we still have to find the funding to support positions that are not funded through standards of quality, SOQ. So we've had to take a look at that budget and so forth. So really what our decision comes down to is, do we look at implementing the 2% in January, or do we look at not implementing at this time? If we were to implement in January, what essentially could happen, there's a couple pros to doing that. One would be that we will receive state funding that will actually take care of the entire 2% for the SOQ funded positions if we were to implement January 1st, 2014, which was another interesting tidbit when we contacted the state. Even if we're implementing in January, we still get the same amount of funding. And of course, I questioned that, and we were told that they're more interested, the intent of that was to make a commitment to a raise, no matter when it happens. So that's the reason why we still get that amount of funding. So if we were to implement that, the other positive would be that employees would see a 2% increase effective January 1st during the course of this year. There's some cons to doing that, and that you probably have in your mind right now. Number one, the sustainability of the raise going forward. Once we do the raise for the 2%, although the funding for that will be covered during this fiscal year, we'll have to budget for it moving forward, which means that if possibly we could be looking at cuts to support it in non-staffing areas, because you know the largest portion of our budget is related to staffing and instructional staffing needs. So obviously that would be the downside to that. So as I generally do, I make recommendations to the board. My recommendation would be to move forward with the 2% starting in January 1st, 2014, knowing that it will be addressed through funding provided this year, and that we'll need to plan for it moving forward. So that would be my recommendation, and I would certainly need the board to give me direction, because if you are feeling that way as well, we need to ask the Board of Supervisors for the additional appropriation.
Are we, we're not just going to do a 2% for SOQ positions anymore?
That's correct.
What is the additional, what we're proposing, the 541, is that the total? Or three?
Sorry, Mrs. Mawson will have these numbers.
Proposing the additional 541 would actually cover all of the positions, but giving a raise as of January. We've also looked at some of our grants to see, if the grants could cover it. Some of those we would have to cover locally, and it would cover that also.
state would only have given the teachers and some, wouldn't have given the raise to everyone. And we're talking about CAT 3 workers, secretaries, bus drivers. We're treating everybody the same, being fair about it, and I'm very pleased about that, because these people deserve a raise just like everybody else. And I would say for the record that this does not include school board members. It does not, and I approve of that, because I didn't run this job to get a bonus on the raise. The people do not like the fact that Congress votes us on the raise every year, so people don't approve of it. So it does not include school board members. Mrs. Rogers includes everybody else, and I'm very much in favor. Our people deserve it.
I too think that we should go ahead with the 2% because we're looking for a change in Richmond starting the first of the year, your governor, your congressman, things like this. So who knows what changes will come along. Maybe they'll find money to provide the additional support that we need.
But just knowing that that's going to be a part of our budgeting.
I mean, it's a reality that we will have to deal with this budget, that we'll start working on this.
Yeah, we're
And
going to
I
budget. I
feel
think,
like we
I think that, hopefully you get paid, there's no way you can give people a raise now and take it away from them next year.
That's right.
Or else cut jobs in order to cover it. I think that's something we'll just have to analyze our budget. Hopefully we'll have to make commitments, definite commitments, the rest of the year for next year.
But the important point is that if we don't use the state money, we're going to lose it.
Yeah, and hopefully that is clear.
The state's not going to give it back to us.
This additional funds that would cover this is available. We asked our board of supervisors to request it from the state and come from the state.
Yeah, we did contact, the state to determine if by the end of this month, we changed our decision on that we would still have the funding available to us.
Is that, when you say January the 1st, that would show up when and employees income?
End of January.
At the end of January, Carol.
February 1st.
February 1st.
Well, the end of the month. Their
Right,
first
right,
paycheck
right.
for 2000.
Right.
I think, again, I'll say again, but I'd like to reiterate that I think we should push forward with it because I think that this will show all of our employees that we, the school board, are really behind them and will support them.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the 2% pay raise effective January the 1st for all employees except school board members, and ask the board of supervisors for an additional appropriation.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries. I think we have operated in a manner that is addressing the needs of our employees and also working within the limitations that we've had to work in from the beginning of the year with this budget. I applaud Dr. Cotton and his staff who have done the research to make this possible.
And I appreciate the insight from the board because, as you know, when we looked at this during our budget process, it looked a lot different than what's now. Still have to look at that same commitment, but you remember if we'd implemented it at the beginning of the year, we would have looked at several staffing cuts to support it. So we're in a better situation now, and we're hopeful to the future. We certainly hope that the funding will be supported. We don't know that for sure, but we're just going to have to spend some time working through that budget process.
Okay, well, at this time we'll move on to superintendent's report. Dr. Cotton, I believe your report this month is a back-to-school report.
Yes, sir. In lieu of our highlights, which will start up again in August, students have been out of school and they're starting back up here next week. Wanted to provide the board with a back-to-school report because we are busy in the summer and all of the departments and schools are busy working to prepare for the next year. And I wanted to highlight some of the things that have been going on this summer. The first one, we had protocol training. All of our principals completed protocol training June 4th through the 6th. And this training will assist our principals in the facilitation of problem-solving skills and addressing problems of practice that they encounter on a daily We also had MAP training, measures of academic progress training, which is an assessment tool that provides detailed, actionable data regarding where a student or child is in their unique learning path. MAP results can be used by teachers as a part of the teacher performance evaluation and goal setting, but it also focuses more on student growth. And we talked a lot about reading, mathematics, and language. These are areas that we're going to be assessing and focusing on very closely throughout the year. Textbooks and materials. Textbooks and consumable materials have been ordered for the 2013 school year, and processes are in place for us to get started. We also had a Summer Math Institute this summer, where Henry County, Martinsville City, and Carlisle teachers completed the Summer Math Institute at NCI, May 28th through the 31st. The Institute focused on inquiry-based learning in mathematics, and follow-up training is scheduled for the fall of 2013. Also, improvements to the teacher performance evaluation system. Following the implementation of the teacher performance evaluation system, or TPES, during the 2012-2013 school year, the teacher performance evaluation design team had added a self-assessment tool for teachers to use annually to reflect on the effectiveness and adequacy of their practice based on each of the 7 performance standards. This is a powerful tool, and it was well received by the principals. Teachers will also be required to develop 2 SMART goals for the upcoming year as required for the evaluation system. Also, the principals have a self-assessment tool that they'll be using this upcoming year as well. Implementation of a restructured classified performance evaluation system. A newly restructured classified performance evaluation system was rolled out to all principals during the administrative retreat in June for use during this year. This was a year-long process led by a committee who met monthly and who utilized protocols with each of the classified job positions, bus drivers, clerical staff, instructional aides, special ed professionals, etc. The design of the classified system closely resembles that of the teacher evaluation system and includes performance standards on which each classified employee will be evaluated. I will tell you that many school divisions put this on the back burner, those classified evaluations. I'm proud that we have made appropriate changes to our evaluations, and we had lots of folks involved in revising that. Recruiting of high-quality professionals. The Human Resources Department has assisted principals and other administrators in filling 85 positions this summer. These positions have included 45 new teachers, as well as reading instructional assistants, paraprofessionals, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, bus aides, and an attendance secretary. The recruiting and onboarding process includes everything from job posting and interviewing, through hiring, conducting background checks, employment verifications, assistance with licensure applications, orientation, benefits, enrollments, contracting issuance, and all other details associated with onboarding. It is a comprehensive process, and it's been incredibly busy this summer for our HR team. They're still working on many of these things. Orientation for new teachers. More than 40 new teachers participated in beginning teacher orientation this week, the week of July 29th, A number of motivating speakers welcomed them to our school division, including Mr. DeWitthouse, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, Dr. Joe Duvall, our Chairman, Henry County School Board, Mrs. Gracie Agnew, Magna Vista High School Principal, and 2013 Outstanding High School Principal of Virginia, Mr. Trey Harris, Henry County Teacher of the Year, and I believe we had representation from HCEA, and I believe you all provided breakfast, too, if I remember correctly. These educational professionals spent an intensive 4 days immersed in training, mentoring, and acclimation to their new schools in preparation for the start of the school year, August 12th. Professional development for new teachers. Beginning teacher orientation included a variety of professional development opportunities, including sessions on differentiation of instruction, curriculum, use of technology as an instructional tool, partnering with parents, and the use of PD360, the online tool Henry County School uses for professional development and growth. Here, Mrs. Sandy Strayer, Director of K-12 Instruction, talks with new teachers about how to effectively manage the first days of school. Financial training for bookkeepers. A bookkeeper financial training session was devised to review standard operating procedures and internal controls. We also reviewed fraud definitions, fraud triangle and different types, and how to look for warning signs of potential fraud. School nutrition manager training sessions. School nutrition managers attended the Summer Managers Workshop provided by the Virginia Department of Education on July 30th. This workshop provided updates on regulations and other valuable training. A local training day for school nutrition managers was also held on August 1st to go over new policies and procedures for the 2013-14 school year. School nutrition employees will attend training on August 7th to go over the new procedures. We had substitute orientation for more than 150 substitutes to step in and provide instruction and other services to our students when our full-time faculty must be away. Many of these individuals are retired school teachers. On August 7th, the Human Resources Department conducted substitute orientation for anyone wishing to substitute this year. School volunteers. Henry County Public Schools promotes family and community engagement that engages everyone in activities and programs to lead to student achievement and success. At the same time, ensuring a safe environment for all students and staff is a top priority. The Human Resources Department assists with this process by registering all volunteers, fingerprinting and running background checks, updating affidavits, and issuing badges to those who meet the requirements to become volunteers within the schools. This summer, Human Resources has assisted approximately 100 individuals with the volunteer registration process. With the start of school next week, this number will increase dramatically during the months of August and September. Bassett High School Phase 1 renovation. Following our capital improvement plan, Bassett High School received new HVAC, lighting, and ceiling this summer, and a portion of the building. Base bid work plus its alternates will complete Phase 1 of our plan. This is scheduled for substantial completion October 14th. Of course, Warrior Tech and Magna Vista, which we talked about, the high school students at Magna Vista who are part of Warrior Tech will see a different look and approach to learning this year with the new Warrior Tech Academy. Construction has moved along smoothly and substantial completion set for August 30th. School nutrition catering. Our catering kitchen provided meals for training sessions through mid-July and has already been in full production to provide meals for convocation on August 6th, which they did this week. New landscaping updates to our schools. You'll begin to see new landscaping around our schools, such as shown here, Campbell Court Elementary. The Facilities Maintenance Department has implemented plans to update all flower beds in the division from mulch to brick chips. This will be a long-term savings for our schools while keeping a fresher look year-round. I need to try that at home. New security measures for school office area. Our parents will also see a new look in the office as they are checking in or checking out their children this year. As you can see from the example shown above, Drew Mason Elementary, we are working toward making our office areas less vulnerable to risks, and we've been talking quite a bit about that. We've already done a lot of work with that, but these are additional upgrades that have happened over the summer. Schools are clean and ready for students. We've completed our end of the summer inspections with Service Solutions, and all schools are ready to welcome students and staff back to a clean environment, because we know if it's not a clean environment, it's not a good learning environment for our students. And just look at the shine in our hallways here, pictured here. Emergency reference books for all classrooms. Our emergency reference handbooks are in the printing stage. They will be ready and available in every classroom, and will give a quick point of reference for teachers and substitute teachers on steps they should take during the crisis. Elementary laptops. This summer, the division placed 25 new Dell laptops and charging carts in each elementary school. These laptops will be used by students for all curricular activities in their classrooms. And of course, 6th grade iPad initiative. This year, the division increased their one-to-one iPad initiative by adding iPads to 6th grade. Media on demand. The division upgraded media servers in all schools and will install the district server in August. Servers will deliver digital curriculum content videos from many companies to desktops, laptops, and soon mobile devices. This server upgrade eliminates the need to purchase DVD and VHS players in schools, and also offers current up-to-date video content from many of our publishers. Our bus routes. Bus routes have been completed and updated using the EdgeLog routing software. Parents can log on to Henry County Public Schools website to determine bus numbers, pick-up, and drop-off times. Audit field work completed. The auditors completed the field work for the audits for all support groups and school activity funds during the month of July. Career Elementary office updates. Carver Elementary office updates. Our Facilities Maintenance Department built and installed this furniture to give the office area at Carver an updated look for a more functional work environment. The Axton Elementary roof coating project, the students and staff may not be able to see this upgrade, but it will benefit their learning environment. The roof coating project at Axton Elementary includes new paint for the canopy and gutters for the perimeter of the building. This will give Axton Elementary a fresh start for the school year. Rich Acres lighting and ceiling upgrades. The students and staff at Rich Acres will see a new look in their classroom as they return to school. Upgrades to the lighting and ceilings in all classrooms are complete. Not only will this create a better learning environment, but we anticipate additional energy savings with this change. All buses have been serviced and inspected. The People Transportation Department has been very busy this summer getting ready for the 2013-14 school year. They have serviced, washed, and inspected 137 buses to prepare for the first day of school. Bus driver in-services. This week, bus drivers attended their annual summer training and reviewed the Henry County Public Schools Transportation Manual. This in-service also included defensive driving techniques, driving the buses efficiently, and best practice driving strategies. We also participated in the USDA summer feeding program. The school nutrition department had a very busy summer. Each year, the department is a summer food service program sponsor, providing free meals to all children aged 18 and under to a wide variety of sites in Henry County. This year, our department was asked to sponsor sites in Franklin County because their local sponsor did not reapply to provide meals in this area. Over the summer, we have provided meals for 69 different feeding sites, including our 10 elementary schools, 34 short-term and intermittent sites, such as vacation Bible schools or activity camps like Explore Camp. And the rest were sites that were open for breakfast, lunch all summer, such as daycare locations. Meals served in June equaled 13,088 breakfasts, 19,057 lunches, and 3,313 dinners. So that's quite a bit. We also have Power School upgrades in place. Power School has changed for the 2013 school year, and that's important for parents to know. All parents will be provided directions to create a new parent portal account. This update will allow parents to create their own logins and passwords. If they have multiple children, they'll be able to use one login to view all of their children's accounts, so it'll be much easier for our parents, and we're posting directions on the Parent Connect website. A couple other things, we have newsletter subscriptions that are new this year. Henry County Public Schools will maintain 3 newsletters for the 2013-14 school year. My monthly highlights that I provide to the board, Parent Connect, and press releases. And this screen displays the Parent Connect newsletter here. These will be sent via email and available on the HCPS website. Anyone can sign up to receive the newsletters on our webpage, and once they subscribe, they will get the updates emailed to them on a regular basis. So that's a new communication tool for this year. And also, Henry County Public Schools is now on Twitter, if you haven't noticed. We have 2 primary accounts, Parent Connect and Henry County Public Schools, and we have been utilizing that for the last couple of months. So I hope the board realizes in the community that we're very busy in the summer. Sometimes people are under the impression that that the summers are times for relaxation and downtime, and we like for that to be the case. We do try to take some time for that, but we're also very busy preparing for the upcoming school year, and I'm proud to report to you that we're in very good shape for next week.
Mr. Chairman, he talked about safety and security. Would it be all right, Mr. Chairman, if we ask the sheriff to come to the podium just a minute? I'd like to make a few comments to the sheriff. Would that be appropriate, Dr. Long? Sheriff Perry, Dr. Cotton constantly reminds us how closely you and your department work with him on safety. And I think we're ahead of the learning curve. We implemented some things during Mason this summer, and I think we're ahead of most jurisdictions on safety. And I just want to thank you and your department for working closely with Dr. Cotton and our staff, because safety is paramount.
Yes, sir.
If you've got any advice for upcoming school starting on Monday, I'd like to hear it.
If it's okay, I actually did come over for that purpose, and I do want to say we have worked very well together. And one thing, I was wanting to show you some posters, and I refer back a couple years ago, actually probably about 3 years ago, when the gang activity came forward. And our office, working with the school board, especially Amy and some of the others, by going on Facebook, being proactive, going and confronting the activity it pretty much just dissipated. Now, I won't say it's eradicated, but once it couldn't operate in open areas, it went away. And I've had some thoughts. One of the things, please pass these posters around. I wanted to ask permission to put these up in just a few locations within the middle schools and high schools. I've tried to take a very open, participatory approach with everyone who is interacted with our youth. I mean, certainly this is our future generations, our purpose, future leaders, everything. It's our children. And our role also, I have to go back and look at my high school days and so on, but along with that, the same ones that are community leaders now hold very important jobs in the communities, but also some of the criminals that plague our society came through with us as well. And we can think of those people that we went to school with, if their paths started going bad in middle school and high school and they never changed. In some of these meetings with the youth, I asked one thing. I said, and I regularly get the complaint, I'm assuming as far as you, the school board, the principals, everyone. I would get a call. Someone would say, well, what are you going to do about drugs in school? And after receiving several of these calls, and the parent would say their child was describing horrific things taking place in the school environment. And when I got to telling them, I said, please bring your son or daughter forward, and we will be glad to have a sit-down meeting with them. And I explained to them, I said, we hear this, but no one comes forward. And you could hear the reasoning and the understanding of the parent, and the calls pretty much stopped. But with that, the problem hasn't stopped. We began talking some time back, and one thing I wanted to do, of course, this is a technology generation, and they certainly text, email, and do various things. And what I wish to do is to have a means for them to report anonymously. Basically, they could become their own anonymous neighborhood watch. And this is aimed primarily at the good students that just want a better environment. I think one thing that needs to be promoted is for the younger generation is a sense of ownership of their own generation. When I had the opportunity to speak to some youth, I said, if we created this, would you participate with it? And basically, and this was the honor students that was brought one day, and they said, it doesn't affect us. Well, yeah, and I thought about it afterwards. This has been a couple years ago, but yes, it does affect them. It affects their environment. It affects their violence. I say drugs is a cancer of society, and right now it appears to be winning. And along with it go the problems of bullying, larcenies, things like that. If it's okay with the board, what I would like to do is just very inconspicuously put up a few posters in 2 middle schools, 2 high schools, and have an avenue to see. This is completely experimental. Would the children, and you're only looking at a select few, would they participate in this and help us get the bad apples out of their generation and their schools? Now, I wanted to say one thing. We have worked extremely well together. In the conception of this, we spoke with George Lyle. We wanted complete access from both sides. This is not something where we want to start hunting in the schools. We want a reporting system, and then we want to evaluate the information that comes forward. And by that, George said that if we house the information and if we were the primary agent, our privacy laws were a little bit better than the school boards. So we've kind of taken a forefront in that. But along with that, we do not want to take any action. One thing the posters say, this is not an emergency reporting line. They do have crimes within their own schools, things, phones stolen, vandalisms, things like that, certainly the bullying. And what I hear too many good children say, I don't even feel like I can go to the bathroom because there's people in there trying to do wrong activities. Well, please tell us who's doing it. When is it going on, and things like that. And maybe our school resource officers and teachers can do a little bit better job of, I doubt we will be able to eradicate problems from their environment, but we can certainly minimize it, as I referred back to the gang problem some years ago. I want to assure the school board, if one piece of information comes in saying that so-and-so is a drug dealer. We're not going to go jumping on that one piece of information. But if this works as it should, there should be several reports come in pertaining to an individual. And then we're going to we will be sharing the information up front, period. Then we're going to talk with the guidance counselors and the school resource officers, and nothing will move forward until it's properly investigated so that there is no intrusion on the good students. Because I thought early on, well, the drug dealers could take one of the honor students and say they're a drug dealer. We don't want to overreact. We want to investigate it as it goes. This is not going to be a line that if someone sends in information, in 24 hours we're going to be acting on it. It's something that we look at. We start looking and seeing, does this information fit what the teachers, the counselors, and the school resource officers are seeing? So anyway, but that's what I would like to do this year as we have the children come back. And this is completely just trying to help them with their own environment.
Mr. Chairman, we've been having conversations about this. We need to work on communication to parents and students and principals. So we're already making plans to implement something like this for the upcoming year. It won't start day one because we need some time to work on the actual communication plan of that. But it's a great idea for us to try. We also need to make sure that students aren't violating the cell phone policies and procedures, because I can almost hear now, I'm reporting something with the cell phone out at inappropriate times. So all of those things we're working out. But I'm glad that you were able to share with the board where we're going with this, and I'd like to see if you all have any questions or concerns.
What you're saying is you're still in the process of working this out, and you're going to come back to the board in the future.
Yes.
I think it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
We will.
Thank you, Sheriff, for working with us on this.
I think it's not something that we need to act on today. I'm sure all of us have questions and concerns as to how this will operate. You'll come back with us.
Yes, because we had a couple things that we're working on to make sure that we get all the proper communications out. Because the worst thing we can do is put up the posters before we've done that. But again, I really appreciate our work with the sheriff, and he's right. The students will report through the phone. Matter of fact, sometimes we think that they can type better on the phone than on a laptop. But in the very near future, we should be ready to give you more information on that.
Thank you, Sheriff Perry. We appreciate you coming to us with this, and we appreciate hearing that our school system is working closely with you and your staff on addressing concerns of the type that have been brought up. Appreciate that. Do you have anything else from the superintendent's report that needs to be
Unless the board has any questions.
Any questions about either the energy and facilities report or fundraisers that have been approved?
One thing on the fundraisers, I think some time ago, this was before you got here, I think that Dr. Carter mentioned that we were concerned about our childhood obesity at this state, and that we need to be very careful including fundraisers that are selling items that may add to this. I noticed a couple of cookie sales there, and I know that there are some new things that are being introduced, but I think we want to make sure we keep it our nutritional program and not allow things to be sold under the school banner that would add to this problem that we have.
Well, I really would need some direction from the board if that's something that we certainly can hold them accountable for that if that's something you would like us to do. But I really would need direction from the board before I start doing that, because as you know, the first complaint I will get will be, some of these fundraisers have been very successful.
Right.
The cookie dough we've been doing, I know when I was at concert, in John Red,
But if we feel strongly enough about it, I need you all to give me guidance on that before.
And when I was teaching, my favorite thing was candy, because it wasn't about candy. only help it from a monetary standpoint. But, I think we need to make sure we're working, because we removed from our cafeterias and places like that a lot of those items. And we don't need to remove it here and add it here.
Okay, any matters from the board to be brought at this time?
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman. A year ago, I made a motion to the effect that the board would strongly back Dr. Cotton in discipline matters, and we asked Dr. Cotton to strongly support the principals, assistant principals, and teachers on the chain of command. And that was a year ago to this month, before school started. And I'd just like to personally thank Dr. Cotton publicly. He has backed the administrators and the faculty, and they're very, very happy that he has. And I'm also proud that this board has backed Dr. Cotton when people have appealed to us that like his decisions. This board has backed the superintendent. And we have high expectations for our students and faculty. I was pleased when Reverend Eccles said there's no substitute for manners and dress. We did emphasize the dress code last year for students and teachers, and I think there's a little room for improvement there, and there's always room for improvement, and we need to work on that. And things like bullying, we don't tolerate. We're proactive. And our retreat, he talked about the professional development for employees to recognize signs of bullying. The sheriff mentioned it today, and we made progress last year, and I hope we'll continue to make more progress at the house.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Others? Remind you of some upcoming dates. Of course, August the 12th, first day of school. I think we need a reminder of that. Everyone's on top of it, I think. I mentioned our September board meeting is an evening meeting. Will take place at Philadelphia College Middle School. Meet and greet at 5:30. The regular session will begin at 6 o'clock.
Did we decide?
We decided at the retreat
To move that here.
it took the technology staff a whole day to set up everything at the schools, and then the sound system wasn't the best, and to help our technology system, I think we decided we're going to have.
Okay.
And also, we noticed that attendance did not improve.
Okay, it shows up on this written agenda I have as still FC, but officially then it will be here, same time, 5:30, 6 o'clock for the regular session. September 30th, new legislative advocacy conference at Charlottesville. If board members plan to attend that, they need to register through Mrs. Oldby. And the SBA annual convention in Williamsburg in November. At this time, I'll entertain motion to go into closed session in accordance with section 2.2-3711, print A, print 1, Code of Virginia, appointments and separations of personnel and superintendent's contract. Same section, print A, and print 2, Code of Virginia student matters. Same section, print A, and print 7, Code of Virginia legal matters.
Second.
Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Okay. We will adjourn to the outdoor chamber.
Grandma.
We have a motion at this time to return to regular session.
Second.
Those in favor signify by raising your right hand. We have the certification of the closed session.
Whereas the school board of Henry County has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the school board of Henry County hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered. Dr. DeVault?
Yes.
Mrs. Maddox?
Yes.
Mr. Milner?
Yes.
Mrs. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Zaire?
Yes.
Okay, we have several motions coming out of closed session. Let's see, Mr. Zaire, do you want to start with your motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the personnel report and personnel report addendum as presented.
Discussion. Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Ms. Rogers, you have one or more motions?
I move in student case number 43R that the student has his expulsion lifted with permission to attend the Center for Community Learning for first semester with the possibility to transition to Beta Vista for second semester.
Second.
Those in favor of this stated motion signify by raising your right hand. Yeah, go ahead.
Also move that the board accept the special placement from the special placement committee recommendations.
Second.
Those in favor of this stated motion signify by raising your right hand. Ms. Maddox?
Mr. Chairman, I move in student case number 44R that the student have his expulsion lifted with permission to attend the regional alternative school.
Second.
Those in favor of this motion signify by raising your right hand. Mr. Middleton?
Mr. Chairman, I offer motion that the student case number SBA-14, that the school board approves special placement for the 213-214 school year.
Second.
Those in favor of this motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion fails. Is there a motion at this time to adjourn this morning's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Those in support of this motion, please raise your right hand.